Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday's Market SITREP. Sorry, did not get any videos on Monday or Tuesday. No Monday Market Outlook or Tuesday SITREP. As you can tell by my ragged voice, as always seems to be the case when I try and take a vacation here in Top Gun Options, something happens. I got knocked on my rear end with strep, and hopefully I'm on the back side of it. So good times as we're getting dumped on with, I think we got 19 inches overnight here. So going to try and take the kids skiing here at Aspen today, since it doesn't look like the roads are passable. So let me knock out a SITREP here. Along with a new trade alert, a bearish trade on China. We got to take a look at what Lighthizer has to say, and he's not too bullish on the trade talks here. And things are still, as I've said many times, folks, the trade issues are really kind of a straw man. China could care less about the trade issues. I mean, they care on some level. At the end of the day, it's about their strategic dominance in the region and, in fact, the world. They really want to be even with the United States and Russia, and in many cases and areas they are. There was a study, when I was going to try and shoot a video on Monday, there was a study by the RAND Corporation, which is a ascending home for retired admirals and generals, that said, in a Russia-China-U.S. matchup, we just get absolutely obliterated, which is not good. Secretary of the Navy and a bunch of folks testified the other day that the Navy industry partners are under cyber siege by Chinese hackers. This is, hacking threatens U.S. standing as world's leading military power, folks. This again goes to I think the president's going to look like a fool when we get whatever trade deal we get. It's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on. I briefed you 2 weeks ago, that we discovered that the Chinese are hacked into all of our maritime universities, stealing all of our submarine secrets. You think they're going to lose any sleep about hacking into Goldman Sachs and, reading all their stuff or trading off of that information? Not going to happen, guys. So a lot of interesting, but this is, and I get that the New York Times, and it's burning my eyes being up on my screen, the New York Times, but good article about how and again, I've mentioned this several times, I don't know who's in charge of this trade. Mnuchin, no. Lighthizer, no. Larry Kudlow, the market whisperer, no. Wilbur Ross, Mr. Magoo, the commerce secretary, no. The president, yes. Who's the single point of accountability for these negotiations? I think it's supposed to be Lighthizer, and he casts doubt on China trade talks as major issues go unresolved. You see that, folks? So all these bullish movements in the past, Trump a year ago, just got off the phone with Xi. Huge trade deal, going to be huge. Nobody does trade deals better than me. Market would rally. Today, we don't even get a bump when that guy opens his mouth about trade. There's massive issues that I do this so you don't have to. I love this. It's if you love what you do, it's not work. But briefed you about a month ago on a speech that the President Xi gave that said, we're not changing our kind of the way our DNA more or less as a Chinese people for anybody, meaning the forced transfer of technology, intellectual property theft, you name it, or us or China funding Chinese companies. Yeah, we're not changing that. Those are the three big issues, folks. So very, very bearish on what's going on here. So look to, excuse me. This is in your email. Oh, let me just pull up the email. Sent out. I got the text. I got the email, folks, before I got the text. So here's the trade. Let me bring it up here. It's a bear call spread. Let's pull up the chart first. Let's take a look at FXI trade, and we kind of got not a double top. We tried to get back up to this 45 level. We did a really nice trade a couple weeks ago on FXI. As the chart's waiting to come up, it's I'm looking to sell 150 of next Friday. Staying very tactical with FXI. Sell 150 of next Friday's. That's March 22nd, 44.5 calls. And that's a hedge in case I'm wrong and the market decides to believe both presidents, that everything's great, and FXI is a rip your face off rally. Well, I'm going to buy upside calls. This tactic is called a bear call spread. It's also called a credit spread or a vertical spread. So we're bringing in a credit. When I sent the text alert out, it was right around 17 cents. I'm going to look to try and get filled around 17 cents plus or minus 2 cents. So the lowest I'd go on this trade is about a 15-cent credit, all the way up to about 19 for today. Outside of that range, it's the risk reward is a little too rich for my blood. Oh, and that's not good. I put the same image in that trice. See? Oh, that was stupid. See? I need to go medicate myself. All right, so here is the FXI. Let's take a look at the 3-month chart here. So it looks like this 45, it was resistance here. We had a nice bear call spread, another bear call spread. This time we didn't even get, it's kind of like a dead cat bounce off the middle of the Keltner channel, and this thing's heading lower. This is not a bullish looking chart. So actually, let's take a look at the metrics. It's right around our normal bear call spread-ish risk. I think we're risking about 49.50 to potentially make, what was it, about 22? Let me cancel it. Copy, and then it'll come up. There you go. Oh, man, it's all... Well, here were the metrics at 17 cents, risking $4,950 to potentially make $2,600. So risking 5 to make 26. Nice risk to reward ratio, about a 62% probability of that max profit, about 26% probability of really getting kicked in the teeth and waking up one day. But that's why we put in that eject level. I simply double the credit that I take in. Let's do about 16 cents. 16 and 16 is 32. So if I woke up one day in this trade, remember, we want this credit to go to zero. I want that entire credit. I want all 16, 17 cents in my pocket. If this thing starts going up, the other direction, that ain't good. That means money's flying out of my pocket. I don't like money flying out of my pocket. So around the, 32 cents point is when I scratch my chin and I go, okay, why is FXI rallying? Because remember, this is a bear call spread. We don't want it to rally. We want it to go down. So I scratch my chin because I don't want to take that max, loss of $5,100 in this case. So around 32 cents, I scratch my chin and go, wait, is this just, why is it rallying? Should I get out? Are my commit criteria, why I committed capital to this trade, still valid? And if they are, maybe I stay in. If they aren't, get out. I call it the eject point, right? So you don't want to take max losses. You want to manage risk appropriately. And that max risk of about $5,100 is based on 150 contracts. Can't give you investment advice. Not a registered investment advisor. You guys are getting an eavesdrop on what I would potentially do. So, hey, man, I don't want to risk more than $2,500. 75 contracts. Whiz, I'm a quadrillionaire. Money's no object. I don't mind risking, 10 grand. All right, well, ma'am, sir, 300 contracts. And then obviously this is a bear call spread, and the Greek that this type of trade loves, is what? Theta, time decay. In this type of trade, you're the house. You're the car dealer. As soon as that sucker pulls out in their brand new FXI car, they lose money on what? Theta, time decay, right? You start making money on that theta, that time decay. You like it. So I'm going to fire this thing back in there at around 16 cents. And like I said, so lowest I'd go is 15, and the highest I'd go is 19. Let me finish up my brief here. So U.S. stocks, folks, some mixed macroeconomic data over the past couple days. And obviously, here we are, folks. I've never, in my entire 26, 27 years of doing this, seen a quintuple top. The fifth time, is the fifth time going to be the charm? So technically, folks, when I woke up this morning, barely able to swallow again, we were above this kind of, 2808-ish, whatever the 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 4, 5, 6. So if we close above this level, it might be bullish. If we don't, most likely bearish. I think we're going to see kind of this type of trading, folks, here, right around this 200-day moving average. Everything's in a holding pattern, folks, again, waiting for this trade deal. And in my opinion, we sell on the news with the trade deal. This is good news. Pentagon. We'll get to the Boeing stuff in a second here. Man, this is why I like trading Raytheon, are these type of headlines. Pentagon to start making banned cruise missiles as treaty expires. The other headline that I like to see was the other day where the president's like reducing all sorts of liberal discretionary spending or entitlement. Can you even believe that we spend money in this country on folks that are entitled to? Don't get me started. I need to save my voice here. What I'm getting at is the president increased, I think it was $33 billion. So the only department really getting more money under President Trump's new budget is what? The Pentagon. Love Raytheon, right? So Pentagon. So obviously everybody knows about the Ethiopia crash. Everybody knows about the Lion Air crash, the 787 Max. I've been on the phone. I've been texting with buddies that fly. The thing's safe, folks. It's the man in the box. It ain't the box. It's a runaway trim issue. Here's the problem with it, folks. And I love the president in this Wall Street Journal. He was quoted the other day. He's like, love pilots. Pilots, phenomenal. He's like, there is way too much find this article and read it, guys. I'm not going to read you this. He's like, split-second decisions are needed, and the complexity creates danger. All of this for great cost, yet very little gain. He's right. We have this gee whiz bang technology, and then when something goes wrong, these what were once aviators, which are now system monitors, sit there with a drool cup going, it's telling us this is wrong with the airplane, but it doesn't. Boom. Okay. I don't know about you, but I don't want Albert Einstein to be my pilot. I want a great flying professional that are allowed to easily and quickly take control of the plane. I love people on the other side of the spectrum that go, we don't even need pilots anymore. They should be completely computerized, automated, this, that. I look at people, I go, has your computer ever crashed? Oops. Folks, it's over automation in this race to automate and AI and all sorts of stuff. The first day of flight school, I was taught to aviate, navigate, communicate. What do I mean? Anything wrong with the airplane? Stop doing everything else and do what? Fly the plane. Aviate. Okay, once you got this thing flying, navigate. Let's go home or to the closest airport. Start doing it. Once that's kind of suitcased, then start talking to people. These guys on the radio like, we're having flight control. Shut up, dude. Fly the airplane. The Lion Air crash and this one the other day, the Ethiopian, pilot error, and they're retarded and they're idiots. Staring at, it doesn't matter if you have conflicting stuff. Stop looking at everything in the cockpit and look out the freaking window. House is getting bigger? Bad. Too much blue sky? Bad. Fix it. It's ridiculous. So I know Harry and Tamara doing some good work lately on Boeing, because Boeing's had a hell of a run. It's the best performing Dow stock, and guess what they're doing now? Boeing ain't going out of business, folks. I'm actually, as a result of this, this brings up a good example of how, a stock like Boeing has single incident risk, or actually this ain't single incident, this is multiple. Countries around the world grounding their airplanes. The FAA, to their credit, hasn't yet, because they're like, we train our pilots to fly the plane in this issue. If the trim runs away, stop the runaway trim and take over manually, you idiots. Not to disparage other aviators in other countries. Their training programs ain't that good, folks. Trust me. So, but what I'm getting at here is hell of a monster run. I like Boeing on this pullback, to be honest with you. But Tamara and I were talking via email. Guess what Tamara and Harry have been doing? Bearish double vertical, bearish double vertical. I might even be looking at a synthetic stock position in here. My other point being, the reason I got on this rant, folks, is because I like a Raytheon, especially because they're the guts of the airplane, right? They're the guts of an airplane, a submarine, and a ship. I like Raytheon a little, obviously, well, a lot of it over Boeing, especially with the president saying, hey, I'm upping my defense budget. Everything's getting cut. We're pulling out of the whatever it is, the IMF treaty, the missile treaty that Russia's already been cheating on for years. Obama did nothing about it. Bigger defense budget, making new missiles that we haven't been able to make for years is very, very bullish for Raytheon. Okay? All right, guys. Man. Oh, this was funny. Facebook banned Zero Hedge for like a day because it was, had a bunch of anti-Facebook articles, and then they reversed the ban. And Donald Trump Jr. apparently reads, Zero Hedge, the censorship continues. How does @Zero Hedge's content not meet community standards? So Facebook booted Zero Hedge for a period of time, because they don't meet Facebook's community standards. And of course, nobody can define those, except, and even that robot doesn't even know what his standards are day to day. What a piece of shit. I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg. Can't stand the stock. He's a disgraceful human being and an American. As I go over to my Facebook account, I get it. I almost want to jump out the window after I say this to you guys. I agree with Elizabeth Warren. And I saw Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. He's like, I can't believe I'm retweeting Elizabeth Warren. These big tech companies got to go. They got to be broken up because they're a threat to our national values. We got a bunch of people with purple hair in the Bay Area with piercings that I don't want to know about where they are, making decisions about my freedom of speech. Pretty sure they don't agree with my thoughts. So, all right, guys, I got to run, because I think I'm done for the day. And I think for the rest of the week, guys, if this shit doesn't clear up, I got a Z-Pack, I got I got all sorts of other crap sitting over there. I might just be sending out, maybe I'll sit here and type some shit up, because this is brutal. I think I had strep throat one other time in my career, and it was down at a missile shoot in New Orleans. I was supposed to be flying to go shoot down like a flare with a Sidewinder, and I actually... I bailed out of that flight. And I remember the skipper, he's like, oh, Wiz, it's great drinking too much and you're bailing out of your flight, partying too much. I'm like, Skipper, I've flown. Let's just say I've flown in a lot under the weather after a night out, Skipper. Me bailing on a missile, and of course went to the clinic on base, and I had strep throat, and it was awful. But anyway, guys, I might just send out a couple emails the rest of the week. So if you just get some trade alerts, suffice it to say that's what you're going to get, and then we'll be back. I'll be back on the horse next week. Okay. Thanks again for letting me to take some time this week with the wife and kids, and I appreciate it, guys. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see you guys next time I see you.